Yo, you're listening to All Elite Podcast. Boom.
And it is the worst podcast ever. We lied! Ow!
Breaking Terry, Scorpio Sky, Ultimate Daniels, Collective Guys, SoCal Uncensored, or SCU.
This is Isaiah Cassidy. I'm Mark Quinn, and we're Private Podcast.
This is the All Elite Podcast,
And you're listening to the All Elite Podcast,
which happens to be the worst podcast I've ever been on. SCU.
What is going on, All Elite family, and welcome to the All Elite Podcast right here on the No Holds Bar Network, your source for all wrestling podcast content and more. I am your host, the self-proclaimed greatest host and owner and CEO of the network, Kyle Masters, and I'm always joined on this podcast by my co-host, the very own Executive Vice President of Giggles. She is also the queen of the indies herself, Tiffany. What's up, Tiff?
I don't know. Breaking internet. Wait. We got to do our thing. Test it.
Go. I think we're good. I hope so. I hope everyone heard that noise, whatever you want to call it, the hashtag noise. That ish noise. But I think we're good. My levels say we're good. I think we are good. We are live right here on youtube.com/the No Holds Barred Network. So make sure you are hitting that subscribe button, hitting the like button, and dropping your comments down below, whether it's live in the chat or whether it's right after for your listening and viewing pleasures. We are here, the All Elite Podcast, giving you up-to-date information going on in the AEW world and Dynamite reviews, pay-per-view reviews, whatever has to do with AEW, that awesome growing brand, each and every single week right here on the network. And before we start this episode, I got to pop a little bit of the bubbly, Tiff.
Ooh,
no, for everyone listening and watching, it's not what you think. It is none other than bubbly sparkling water.
I gotta get me some.
Get yours at grocery stores now.
I got my own
for your own carbonated water pleasures.
Carbonated water right here. It's some salsa.
Trying to get some more sponsorship here. Bubbly water. So I'm gonna crack open a little bit of the bubbly. Ooh, you even got that little sizzle at the end. Ooh.
Jimmy's in the chat and he's going to the Jerk Cruise. He said that he's gonna rock the AEP shirt on the cruise.
All right, that a boy Jimmy. That's a boy Jimmy right there, guys. Jumbo Ref. Shout outs to him. Go give him a follow on Twitter. But I'm enjoying some of that sparkling water bubbly because I've been on like a sparkling water crave this week. I don't know what it is, but as soon as someone at work was like, "Oh, you gotta try if you're trying to get rid of pop, like, gotta try the sparkling water." I'm like, sparkling water. It sounds like it would taste bad. That was like my initial reaction. So they got me a can. I'm like, whatever, I'll try it. And it was actually like this flavored, the lime flavored bubbly. I'm like, yeah, I remember seeing those like crappy Michael Bublé commercials where he's like drawing Bublé on the cans in the convenience store or whatever. And I'm like, I'll give it a shot. And ever since then, I haven't been able to put these down. I even ordered a 24 assorted pack off Amazon that same day. And it came with the lime, the grapefruit, and the strawberry. Grapefruit, personally, my favorite. This is the lime one. This kind of tastes like you're drinking a gin and lime, kind of. But it's really good. I've been obsessed with sparkling water, and it's amazing.
That's good. What a mess.
Anywho, Rihu. Guys, welcome to the All Elite Podcast. If you're new, this is where myself and Tiff go over AEW. Again, like I said, each and every single week, keeping you guys up to date with what's going on in the AEW world. If you're coming back, welcome back. You guys know how we do things around here. We always on that ish.
We on that ish.
on this podcast. But you guys know about what we are and what we're about. You know that Tiffany has this thing called her list. The list of husbands. And I guess this is an alert. An alert. There's been a change. An updated top 5.
I turned heel, bro. Like,
oh, there was a heel turn.
there was a heel turn.
How about a little heel turn?
Oof.
Turning my heel right now. You can't see it, though. But we have an official new updated top 5, so I'm going to put it up on the screen for you guys, and I'm going to let Tiff take over and let us know why and what's going on with her top 5 list of husbands. So throwing her under the bus early. Let's go. Let's get it in here. There you go.
The damn bus. Like, why the hell not? I broke the internet, Kyle.
Oh.
I broke the damn internet. You know, like, how upset everybody, even McDuff is upset. He's growling at me right now.
McDuff.
Hey,
'Cause I think he deserves to be number 1. That's why.
McDuff, it's okay. But yeah, so I decided after GCW last weekend that I'm gonna do a little bit of an upgrade.
Oh, okay.
A little bit of an upgrade. I mean, as you guys know, I also do the show Under the Ropes, and yeah, so I had to put Mr. Alex Zane with those gorgeous blue eyes.
Ooh.
Me and Queen got to meet him, and that was it. He stole my heart. He wrestled the Dirty Daddy, Chris Dickinson, and
Duff has something to say about that. I can hear him like growling over there.
he's really bad.
He's on
really,
that ish.
you know that I moved Mr. Gangone. So, but maybe even Mr. Gangone's a little upset too, because I pushed him to 3.
Oof. Oof.
You know, the funniest thing, okay? You see these top 5, okay? So we got Alex Zane, Hank Flanagan, Anthony Gangone, Tony Deppen, and Ace Andros. Do you realize that I've interviewed 4 of the 5 on this list right here? I'm going to give you guys a little snippet just now, okay?
Oh.
Number 4 is coming on Under the Ropes.
Ooh.
That's right. I've been in converse with Tony Deppen. He's going to come. He's going to Vancouver this weekend. But he said that when he comes back from Vancouver, then Under the Ropes with Tony Deppen is actually happening. So,
wow.
But yeah, so
Insider
I'm actually
information right there.
So that's a little insider, and McDuff is really pissed. And
yeah, he's just going nuts right now. He heard you. He heard me bring up the list of husbands, and now we got McDuff being all pissy because he's not in the top 5. I'm ashamed. You know, hashtag justice for McDuff. We need McDuff in that top 5.
oh my lord, he's a dog. Okay,
He's a dog. He's a dog. I can have my top 5 husbands and top 5 dogs. Okay.
Anyway, besides that, I'm making it official, guys. Okay, like Alex Zane, he's a sweetheart. He's gorgeous. If you haven't seen him in the ring, you know, you need to go check out some of his stuff. I would love him in AEW. It would be great. So fingers crossed for that one day. But let's talk about the little stipulation. So I've decided, because I know a lot of people are a little salty about the fact that I pushed Gangone down, right? But it's Gangone. I mean, he's another one. He's gorgeous. He's great in the ring. Okay, but yeah. So you know, number 2 and number 3 are trying to break my heart right now, and they're getting in the ring.
Well,
They
let's
get in
take
the
a
ring.
look at why and where they get in the ring for. And here we go for you guys watching on YouTube. Bam! BWF presents Wrestling for a Cause. Anthony Gangone versus Hank Flanagan.
So I'm making the stipulation official right now, guys. Whoever wins this match is going to take number 1 husband. So this is on, I think it's February. When's Revolution? The 29th?
Yep.
February. So the February 28th in the Elks Lodge in Queens, this match is happening. Ooh. They're really toying with my heart right now because I just don't know. Like, why are you playing with me? Like, yes, it is. It's the battle of the husbands. So whoever wins this match will be number 1 husband. So will Anthony Gangone go back to number 1 husband, or will Hank Flanagan finally hit number 1 husband?
Dun, dun, dun.
But it's great because it's for a good cause. It's actually an EMT guy who's running it, and he lost his wife to cancer. So this is a charity event, and if you guys listen to me and Kyle, we're very big into charity. So the proceeds are donated to cancer. So, so yeah, I'm looking forward to this. But yeah, so that's what's going on.
Battle for number 1. We need the trailer guy. Gango Flanagan. Battle for number 1 husband. That needs to happen. But yeah, so that's the update on Tiff's list of husbands. So transition here. Give it a little park here and get back into that AEW world. And big things before even Dynamite happened this week. One thing happened during Dynamite after it went off air. The other was announced beforehand. Let's talk about what happened went off air first. And it's official. I'm happy for this. We got a new commentator on AEW, and it's official now. Taz is #AllElite. He signed a multi-year contract with the company for a commentary role with them. I am so excited for this. I don't think it's going to be every single week, though, which I'm kind of glad for that. He's going to be transitioning from Dynamite and AEW Dark, from what I understand, which is great. I mean, I knew this was kind of going to happen when Taz agreed to do that one-off to be on commentary, to just do it for the hell of it, and that was on Dark. I knew there was going to be that spark in him that would spark back and say, man, I miss doing this, and he was going to come do it again. And it's now official. Taz is back with the company. He is now an official commentator with AEW, and I'm excited for this because I love hearing him on commentary. He hasn't lost a step hearing him the last couple of weeks. Guy brings some great work to the commentary table, and you know what? I'm excited for it. I'm happy for him that he's going to finally get a multi-year contract at his age now, and he's going to be back doing what he loves, and that's commentary and for AEW.
Excited for this. Like,
yeah, he's a fellow New Yorker.
He's a fellow New Yorker, you know? But no, it's awesome. It's just, I know a lot of people, even on social media, are very excited for this. I'm personally excited for it. He did a great job. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to more with him.
It's awesome. And we can look forward to more AEW in general because it was announced before Dynamite this week. AEW has signed an extension with TNT throughout 2023. Huge news, ladies and gentlemen, with this contract extension. AEW being with TNT now for multiple years forward, and I'm sure multiple years after this end of this current contract to come. One big thing came out of this extension, and we kind of have to touch base about before we go anywhere, because we kind of sent out 2 fan tweets, one for this announcement and one for our regular one after AEW. They've announced that there'll be officially 2 shows a week for AEW. That's pretty much all we know.
Yeah.
There were some rumors saying that might be Saturday. Then there were rumors coming out saying they haven't picked an official day yet. We don't know if they're going to be splitting up the roster. We don't know if they're just going to make Dark a TNT thing instead of YouTube. We don't know. All we know is two shows a week.
We were just talking about this, right? Remember on our 1-year anniversary thing, right?
Yeah.
That the year end of 2019, right? We were talking, and I said, like, you know, what could you do? We had this discussion on air. What could you do for the second show or whatever? So, I mean, there's a lot of things you can do. I'll tell you this, that I personally feel, if we're having another actual show, if it's going to be like another hour or 2 hours worth of wrestling, we need a mid-card title.
Yeah.
We need a mid-card title because this roster is huge, and I can see, like, a lot of people. I mean, I understand we're focusing on tag team. That's great, but we need more women on the roster on TV. We need that time, and the singles that we have, even in the males, we need a mid-card title.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that happening. I kind of want, before I go and jump all over what I want them to do, I kind of see where they're going with this, because so we know that the details haven't been worked out yet. I'm guessing because they don't even know what completely they're going to do. They announced that they're going to do 2 shows a week, but I think they're probably still going through the process of, okay, what are we going to do? I don't imagine this second show will start probably not till later in the year. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. Maybe by summertime, maybe even by October or September, maybe like even beginning of October, like they debuted Dynamite. Maybe that's when we'll get the second show. But they should really focus on making their current show better, and then also focus on maybe working everything out before releasing that next show and making sure that it's going to be good and it's going to be something worth doing. So 2 shows a week through 2023. We don't know what exactly they're going to do yet. We'll keep you guys up to date once we know information. We'll talk about it on our shows once we get to know more details, and we want to know what you guys think out there of what's going on with the double show, or what you guys think of the double show. So we did send out a tweet. I didn't clip any, but I'm gonna read some off here of what you guys think the name of the second show was, and some of the names were hilarious. You guys are so creative out there, and then some of the names I was like, okay, I can kind of see that. So I have the tweet here. Oh wait, nope, this was not it. This was the fan. This was the fan tweet we did last night. So this was before Dynamite. I sent that tweet out. I have it here. I should have had this prepared. My bad. Here it is. So Bria Lexar says Mayhem Underground. AEW Mayhem Underground. That's pretty hardcore. Ellie at Yankee 115 puts AEW whatever day of the week it is, Friday night fights. So AEW Saturday night fights, AEW Tuesday night fights. Okay, it's catchy. It's sport feelish, It's actually interesting. On the right there, it says Betty White's 90th birthday, so happy birthday to her. Sorry to you're off there. AEW Thunder with a winky face.
Oh, God.
Oh, boy. Let's not make that mistake again. War Torn Wrestling. Guy likes and retweets a lot of our stuff. He puts, depends on what day of the week. I kind of agree with that. And Logan Rushford. This is great. AEW Orange with Orange Cassidy as the host.
Can you imagine Orange Cassidy as the host? I mean, I'm all for it. I mean, that's one of my husbands, so.
Mm-hmm. The Maniac Mitch Miller, who won fan tweet last week, he puts AEW Rampage with a cool GIF with the Rampage logo, and I'm like, oh, okay, that seems. I mean, to me, that seems more pay-per-view-ish. AEW Rampage. All Elite Wrestling Info, love these guys. AEW Kaboom. And someone Jeff M comment under Firecracker.
Oh, I could see that. Oh my God, I can't. Well, Kev, I'm looking. Kyle's sharing the screen, so I'm watching how Kyle's.
Okay. These are hilarious. So Kevin Steets.
Dying. This ain't water.
AW, this ain't water.
I'm totally down for this. I promote this. Let's go. Private party hosts this ain't water AEW on Saturday night.
That sounds like a YouTube series.
Yeah, you follow them around and them drink water or whatever like that. You'll probably see me in it because I see Quinn all the freaking time around.
That's hilarious.
So, I don't know, but cowboy shit.
Yeah. He puts AEW Tope Suicida.
Oh, God.
They love doing that move. Freshly Squeeze, and then insert day of the week night mud show.
Mud show?
Mud show.
I think otherwise.
Ollie Kyle, AEW Storm. Like, okay, that's all right. That's all right. Slyly Ramondo puts AEW Collision. And then Adam Burkett, which I kind of just mentioned, puts AEW Dark. So making the Dark show.
Like TV show?
Yeah, putting it on TNT rather than YouTube. I mean, in a way, it's sort of just like an extra hour of Dynamite if you think about it. They do that. I know they do the whole like Tony Schiavone in like the control room kind of thing, and they kind of like did they haven't done it in a while, but was it Desirable to or something to Desirable? I forget what the show was called. When Cody Rhodes used to interview those people.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Again, it's in the works. All we know is it's going to be 2 shows a week. I'm excited. I would love for them to do kind of a 2-show thing. I mean, the roster's huge, and then they're just going to get bigger. So it's obviously they're going to need to go to 2 shows. How WWE does it with theirs, with the Raw and SmackDown. This is kind of going to be almost the same basis. It's going to be Dynamite, and there's going to be another show. Or we don't know. Maybe they're doing something else with the second show. We don't know.
I know a lot of people are writing in the chat like U.S. title, TV title, IC title, and stuff like that. Okay, this is my thoughts about it. Like I said, we need a mid-card title, right? But this is AEW. You got to remember this. You cannot compare, and this is something that I preach since episode 1. You cannot compare AEW to WWE. It's completely different. So I don't want to see like IC title. I don't want to see US title. I want to see a completely different name for the mid-card title, because you are supposed to be the alternative. You're supposed to be different, and you're trying to right? Like the whole point is what's going to catch my eye, right? So I don't want a repeat of something that's been done in another
We
company.
don't even know if they're going to be doing this though, like the way we were kind of thinking. Like we don't know if they're going to be traveling twice a week. I thought their job was to lighten the schedule a little bit.
Right.
We don't know if this is just going to be aired dark on live TV instead of the YouTube, and then half the show is going to be the dark matches, and then half the show is going to be keeping us up to date with everything. It's doing the rankings on there or doing something else in the control room. So it's going to be interesting to see. I have a feeling that it's going to be more like an AEW Dark.
Right.
Going to be 2 show on. It's just going to be put on TNT. So you get.
I don't mind we having mix of things, promos, vignettes, actual wrestling, all things like that. That's fine. I just think because of the fact that we're compacting so much in the 2 hours, and okay, they didn't know how this was gonna go, the show. But like I said, we talked about this on our ending 2019 that I felt like we might need some. I didn't think it was gonna come so soon. So
No.
look what happened. But we kind of need it. Their roster's so big, we're not seeing names.
I think the toughest part of this all is something we're not really talking about is TNT's got so much other things on their network that they're going to have to try to slot it in between other things like hit TV shows, sports. They love sports. They're going to be all over sports. And then to fit another show during the week, that's going to be tough to work around certain schedules of, big sports that give them TV ratings. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with that second show. But until then, we can just sit here and spitball, and we'll see what happens when they do announce it.
That if they do another show on the weekend, that's going to take a lot of people that are working the indie scene that we're probably not going to see as much. So let's say they do pick a Saturday night as another show, then that affects a lot of the workers that are working, that are in AEW, that are picking up indie scenes, because you're seeing a lot of Friday, Saturday nights for the indie scene.
Right.
Like Orange Cassidy works at Private Party. I mean, I know MJF was working MLW, but even Jurassic Express, they pick up certain dates that they're allowed to work.
Right. So, anywho, Ryu. Dynamite this week was the part 1 of Bash at the Beach. I guess part 2 will be on the Jera Cruise. They mentioned it a lot throughout the show, so I was kind of interested to see what they're doing for next week, and they kind of told us on the show that this was part 1 this week. Part 2, Bash at the Beach, is going to be on the Jera Cruise itself. So we got part 1 this week. We had Cody Rhodes finally answer MJF's 3 stipulations. We have the announcement of the cage match, which I kind of want to get into now. So the 3rd stipulation of he has to face Wardlow in a cage match has been announced now for Atlanta. So on February 19th, that AEW Dynamite will have the steel cage match. There's 2 weeks prior to Revolution, I believe. A steel cage match between Cody and Wardlow, and he'll have to defeat Wardlow in order to face MJF at Revolution. This is going to be AEW's first steel cage match. I think everyone's intrigued to see how it's going to look, what style of steel cage they're going to use. Are they going to go old school? Are they going to go with the newer school looking cage? You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be interesting, and it's going to be AEW's version of a steel cage match, which we don't know how they do their steel cage matches. We know how WWE does their steel cage matches. We know how other companies have tried to do sort of steel cage matches. We don't know what AEW has in store for us with that, and it's going to be also Wardlow's debut, his debut match, possibly. We don't know, maybe they surprise us with the week prior and he has a match against a local competitor or a local indie star, and he just destroys them. We'll have to see. But that was announced too. The Jera Cruise, they have matches that were furthered along this week that are going to happen on the Jera Cruise next week, which is amazing. I'm jealous. Everyone is going to be on the Jera Cruise now.
Yeah, but Jimmy.
To get. Yeah, Jimmy. Especially you, Jimmy.
Bring me back something.
Yeah.
Or something. Bring back Trent. He's from Long Island.
Yeah, just package him up. Yeah, don't worry. Come with me.
Put him in the bag. That's our joke. Put him in the bag.
Put him in the bag. So, Bash at the Beach, part 1 themed episode this week of Dynamite. They had 4 announced matches going into tonight, or that night. 2 of them were winners. We're going to face off against each other in the number 1 contenders match on the Jera Cruise, which that's awesome. I love that little mini tournament style they did for that. There's lots of hype for this show going into this show. Very, very much hype because of the themed It felt like more like a pay-per-view almost. Big announcement of the AEW multi-year contract going into it too. So again, there's more and more hype to it. And like we said before, behind the scenes, Taz being officially signed with AEW. Didn't make his debut on Dynamite. Not sure if he'll be on Dark this week. We'll have to see if that happened or not. But I saw the footage of him and Cody, and he was dressed like he was at, in Bash of the Beach attire. So I'm assuming he did Dark this week. We opened up with the 4-way tag team match. Everybody in the ring. I am usually a stickler for not seeing the entrances. But for what we got in this episode, and for them to fit everything in this episode quite nicely, I'm okay with it. But we had Hangman and Kenny Omega versus the Young Bucks versus Santana and Ortiz versus Best Friends. I've been wondering when we're going to see Pride and Powerful on TV again. It's been a while.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're losing out. Like we're not getting everybody. See, whatever. I mean, we'll
we
go
haven't
to
been getting the full inner circle too, because they're part of the inner circle. We've only been getting Sammy G and Jack and Chris Jericho. So
yeah.
I love that we finally included them this episode in the full inner circle. They look like more of a dominant and scary tag team and a scary faction when everybody's there. When they're not, it's like I don't even know if they're a faction. They all don't even wear their T-shirts all the time. Chris Jericho finally wore the new one today. He was the only one wearing it.
Yeah.
So I don't know why. I don't know why they don't do that. I don't know if they're scared that they don't want to be labeled as like an NWO and they always have to wear the T-shirts and they're trying to push the brand more than the actual storyline and faction.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with that. But anyways, winner of this 4-way tag team match receives an AEW Tag Team Championship match, and I guess that's on the Jericho Cruise itself that we find out. I thought it was going to be at Revolution. But they're already pushing this for next week. I thought it was just an awesome start to the match. Very explosive, pun intended. We got the whole... there's the one spot where the camera zoomed on Hangman, and he looked out of it. Like he looked like he'd been sipping a few little wobbly pops there, Hangman, before the match.
Water. Say water.
Say water. Which we'll get into in Being the Elite because I did watch it. Later in the match, there was the one spot where Nick went for a tag, and he tagged Kenny instead. They both had their hands out, and Hangman was like looking pissed, going like, "What the hell's going on here?" So that was basically the main focal point of this whole thing, was the whole Kenny and Hangman thing, and
the eight men trying to suplex each other.
Yeah. Oh, that was a sick spot.
And then Orange Cassidy came in, and that was like the whole that put it over, or But
that was sweet. That was awesome though. When he came in, the crowd went nuts. Like, oh, yeah, I'm like, I thought he was just gonna jump on all of them. Like he's gonna go to the top rope and just jump on top of all of them.
It was good. It's funny. Like when you see this in person, because I see it a lot that happens in the indie scene with these like 8 or 10 men suplex. It's crazy, but I don't know. Like this match was all over the place. I feel like it wasn't. I mean,
very
the last
spot filled.
It was a lot. Okay, and this is where you're like heel Tiff, because I don't ever shit over anything. But like I was talking to Kyle about this before, and I get it. I understand the concept of it. So you gotta like give me this one. I really do not like the whole thing with Hangman Page and Kenny. I really do not like it, and it pisses me the hell off because there's so much good tag teams in this division, and they're not being freaking showcased, and it drives me absolutely crazy. Yes, I love Private Party. I will always put over Private Party. Jurassic Express. Best Friends should be put over like crazy. Yes, they are over, but I hate the fact, and I know probably they're going to get split up, and it's going to break my heart, but Trent is so damn good that he can run singles, And it just, I understand, because Kyle is saying, but that's the story. I understand this is the story, but the thing that pisses me off so much, and this is what I was afraid of with AEW, is that they're putting their friends over. And I get it, and that's going to be an attraction, but the whole point is that you're building all these guys from the indie scene that you did not know about. So put them the hell over. I'm okay with the fact that SCU is the tag team champions. Yes, I get it. I understand it. But I think if we would have had Best Friends or Jurassic Express or Private Party being the first tag team champions, I think it would have been completely over. I do not like Kenny and Hangman together, and I understand that it's probably going to be because Hangman turns on Kenny. I just don't like it. I just don't like it.
I just like them to focus on one thing. I don't want them to focus on like 8 different things at once, and then it just gets too much, and you're not following with what's going on.
Understood, because even me and Brad had this conversation. You need to focus on the stories that you need to focus on. Correct. Fine. You don't need to bring in a million stories into a 2-hour show. I get that. But the fact is, you have a huge roster where, like, we need more. Why are a lot of these, why has it been weeks before we've seen Proud and Powerful? Why has it been weeks that we've seen Private Party? Why haven't we seen more of Jurassic?
I think why is because they don't want to dilute them. Like, they want to take their time. If you keep showing them week after week after week after week, people are going to eventually get tired of them.
Okay, but I'm getting tired of the fact of seeing Kenny with Hangman Page. It doesn't even make any sense.
Then,
You're not,
what I mean? It's the same thing, though. If you weren't pushing Kenny and Hangman, you'd be like, why are they not pushing these guys?
But the thing is like, they're not even a tag team. Why are they put together as a tag team?
Because the story is that they're not a tag team, so that's why there's a disconnect.
Well, it's a stupid story.
I'm just letting you know that's what they're doing.
I get it. Like I said, don't take this all the wrong way in the chat or whoever's listening. This is just something that I feel. I totally understand why. I totally get it. That doesn't mean I have to like it. And that's what I'm coming off. So that's where it was. I was turning heel on this, and I was going to preach about it. It's just the feeling that I have. It doesn't change. I do like the guys. I just don't like them together, and you're pushing your friends when there's a bunch of other tag teams in the division that should have more of a spotlight. Hands down.
Now it's a segment. Tiffany says things.
Okay.
Anyways, as for the match, it was I thought, again, very spot filled. A lot of stuff was very exciting, though. There's still more critique on like where they do the spots where it takes a little bit too long to do the spots. Like the people are just sitting there waiting for the spot to happen, kind of like, and then the spot finally happens, and then I kind of agree a little bit with that. But anyways, as for the match, very exciting, very elite type of match, pun intended. Hangman and Kenny hit their V-trigger buckshot combo for the win, and will face SCU and the Jericho's for the titles. And clearly there's a disconnect because even with the celebrating, Hangman kind of looked like he was just out of it, and kind of like he just wants to break himself off from the elite, whether he's going to be ending up being the Exalted One. I actually read some news that the original plans for Marty Scurll were he was supposed to be the Exalted One, which I will go over and rant about in another podcast on this network. I have some things about that, but apparently, Tiff, Marty Scurll original AEW plans were for him to be the Exalted Ones.
Yeah,
or the Exalted One, sorry, not plural. So interesting start to Dynamite this week. The crowd was very hot for it, though. Oh my God, they are all over that match, and I think that's what makes a really good show too, when the crowd's hot like that. And they're just loving every single part of this match, whether it made sense or not. They're just all about the match itself. Next, we had Cody's response. So we followed up with Cody coming out to the ring, dressed very Miami Vice looking in that suit. My God. And I'm watching with Mrs. Master, and she's like, "Oh my God, that kind of suits him." And I'm like, "It kind of does." She still hates his blonde hair. She's not about the blonde hair, and I'm like, doesn't bother me. Anyways, he talks about his 3 stipulations, but again, it's the lashing, the really awkward, kinky lashings. He cannot touch MJF until Revolution, and he's got to face Wardlow in a steel cage. He brings up Wardlow and says how MJF is actually afraid that he's going to be so good that he'll be using MJF as his bag boy rather than Wardlow being the bag boy for MJF. So that was an interesting take on it. Kind of like that. Kind of saying, like, what if Wardlow makes his debut against me and he figures out and the crowd figures out how good he is, and he gets the thing in his head going, maybe I don't need to follow MJF to be good. Maybe I can be my own self and be that good. So, playing mind games with MJF's manager there. I like it. And he talks about the lashings really briefly. He just says how he can endure the pain. It doesn't really bother him. Then he brings up the point of where he cannot touch MJF. And he says, that's okay because I'm actually touching you inside your head. I'm living in your brain mentally and abusing you and psyching you out. And I'm like, okay, Cody. I feel you, dog. And he basically brings up how everyone says like MJF's modern day legendary heel and all this stuff. And I love how he brings up a lot of stuff that gets talked about in the IWC on TV, you never see that nowadays, right? You never see on like main television programs that they don't bring up anything that gets talked about out there.
Yeah.
AEW does that a lot, and I kind of can respect that because, it's about the fans. They make it about the fans. If something's talking about in the IWC with the fans, they bring it up on TV in some sort of way, and I kind of appreciate that. So rather than just ignoring us completely like the WWE does and do whatever they want to do, they kind of like, in a way, shows respect that they are listening to us on the internet. So,
Well, they did say that they were.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I love how they do that.
Can we stop Cody freaking with his 10-minute entrance, please? Can we say that?
He's top guy. He gets the entrance. He's like
I need
he's Roman.
Oh my God, your tweet when you put that out. But no, really, like, I mean, my friend said it the other day. He's like the Triple H of the damn company. Why do I need to see like this whole fiasco? Save it for the damn pay-per-views. I'm sorry.
Great. Anyways, he calls MJF basically lazy. He's just a lazy heel. He accepts the steel cage. He knows he knows where to have the perfect place for it, and clearly now we know it's in Georgia, his home state. He accepts the not touching him, and then he accepts the lashings. He says at Revolution he's going to make MJF he's going to give MJF his own damn scar, and referring to his scar that he has. So, very intense promo. He accepting everything, not sure when everything's going to happen. We know the cage, the lashings, we don't know. I'm assuming if the cage is on the 19th, the following week will probably be the lashings or the week before. That's what I'm guessing. Because we know after the JR Cruise, we only have 3 weeks to build until Revolution. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that, and when they're going to place that lashing and how bad it's even going to be. Like, we don't know. Like, I don't know are we actually going to see 10 lashings? Is he going to get whipped 10 times with the belt? Like, are they going through with this?
Like, I feel like Twitter's going to be mad. Everybody's going to have something to say about this. I'm kind of
God. Are we going to get some activists in here, and the snowflakes are like, oh, please. It's professional wrestling. Shit like this happens all the time. People act like this doesn't happen or has never happened before. Like, did everyone just skip over the Attitude Era?
I am the Attitude Era today. Like, seriously. Like, what the hell?
So much sketchy shit happened back then. And when it happens today, people are like, oh, that's never happened before. Oh
my God. Kenny Omega went through barbed wire thing, like, bed. Like, oh my God, relax. But no, like, I mean, like, Twitter's going to be, like, mad for this with the lashing.
Wrestling.
Jim Cornette's going to shit all over it.
It's real to me, damn it. Anyways, we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting to see how this story... I'm enjoying the build, the storyline build for this. I'm very much enjoying MJF and Cody. Like, I'm loving this story.
They pulled the trigger.
Well, see, they're calling me. They know what I'm talking about them. You gotta turn it off.
Savage as fuck. Oh Lord, I can't. Hello, this is Domino's.
Cody. Yeah, I know I'm talking about you, man. I'm sorry. I got to. I'm sorry. I appreciate it. Okay, bye.
It's Domino's. Their pizza's outside.
Yeah, they're probably like, what the hell? I'm not Cody. It's your pizza.
Uber Eats.
Anywho, Joey Janela had a backstage thing, and this was interesting. So he brings up Penelope Ford, brings up like he was former. I guess doesn't he say former girlfriend? So are they bringing in real life stuff here?
Yeah.
And then he says
they came in at the rally together.
Okay.
I mean, I knew it was gonna happen, but like,
I thought they were just manager. I like she was just his manager. I know they were dating.
They were dating. Like, he aired out everything on Twitter when they broke up. Mm-hmm. Okay, that she used him to get a contract with AEW. That was like aired out all over social media, that they were dating, and then he broke his leg, and then she broke up with him, and then when he got better, and because of the fact that AEW was after him, then she went back with him, and then once she got her contract, she broke up with him. Yeah,
he kind of mentioned it without completely saying it, because he said she used Joey to get over, and she thinks that she's using the same against Kip. That's like he's like he talks about Kip and saying, she's just using you for the same thing.
Right.
And he says next week, he says it's a new year, a clean slate, a clean record for himself. He's gonna, be better about himself and, build and show people why he's the bad boy. So he's gonna face Ray Phoenix next week 1-on-1 on the Jericho Cruise. So that's gonna be another sweet match that they're getting on the Jericho Cruise. Ray Phoenix against Joey Janela. So
Joey's gonna die.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what they do with that. So Joey just trying to start a new fresh start for himself. Good for him. New year, new him. And then we got probably maybe the worst part of Dynamite, and it sucks because the two people in this match, I really feel bad they had to go through this. We had Brandy and Mel versus Hikaru Shida and Chris Statlander. Brandy replacing the last-minute change. I guess Kong was sick and was not able to compete. God, you could hear a pin drop in this match for like the first 10 minutes. The crowd, you can just tell when the crowd's dead like that. It's not because of Chris Statlander and Sheeta. It's because the whole Nightmare Collective, they're not buying it. No one's buying it, and it sucks because Statlander and Sheeta are forced into it, and especially Statlander, who clearly is gaining more steam by the week with this women's division, and she's being forced into that storyline. And, it just showed with her getting jumped during Sheeta's entrance. Again, the crowd was very dead, not behind Nightmare Collective. I can't really blame them. I'm not going to fully shit on the Nightmare Collective. I hope it eventually does work out. It does need some work. I will say that, but I hope it does work out because I think something like that could thrive in the women's division. They're just not doing it the right way.
It's cool. Like, I think it's interesting to get a female faction, right? Like, it's something we haven't seen. So I think it's cool, but this is trash. Okay, I'm sorry. How do we have, Rio and Sheeta and Chris Statlander as a tag team? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
It was just for one off. They're not a tag team forever. They're just because both of them are involved in the whole scrum last week. They had to do something.
Just doesn't make sense. You're building to the women's championship, okay? And either one of these two women should have took the belt off of Rio, right? That's how I feel. Because those, I feel like, are your top two women in the division right now. Either one of them, I would have been completely happy with taking the belt off of Rio. But you know why that they're not taking the belt off Rio. And this just drives me crazy. And this was a garbage match. The crowd was dead. I wasn't excited. There's so many other women backstage that you're not even using.
Mel looked very rusty as
Where's
hell. Like she's taller than I thought she was. I'm like, what the hell? Like,
oh, and another issue that I had with this episode was that there were so many valets. Like, everybody came out like a valet. What the hell happened? Penelope Ford is really good in the freaking ring. Okay, I know a lot of people don't like Allie, and I get it. I like her with the Butcher and the Blade. Fine, but why does everybody have to come out with a freaking valet? Everybody's coming out with a valet. Like, I'm just not liking it. But this was a shit match. I would have liked another one-on-one, or I can't get behind the Nightmare Collective.
I think it should have been Mel versus Statlander one-on-one.
That would have made more sense.
And it would have made more sense for the valet. Like, Sheeta could have been in Statlander's corner, and Brandy could have been in Mel's corner. Like, at that point, it would have made sense for what they did last week. Not saying I agree with what they did last week, but to save it and be a saving grace, you could have just made them one-on-one. As for Mel, though, I don't know what's going on this week. Is she rusty or what? But that was, I don't know what I was watching.
Rio versus Statlander versus Sheeta. See, that I would be interested in watching. This, and then the fact that it was like we were supposed to have Awesome Kong. Okay, fine. But then you put Brandy in there, and I'm sorry,
she's still green.
She needs a lot of work. I mean, she's gorgeous to look at, and
theatrics A+ though. Like her selling and all that, great, but her wrestling it needs some work.
And
then Statlander eventually hit the finisher for the win. It is what it is. We move on.
Yeah.
Hopefully they improve that. They had a Dark Order promo, and it was with that guy who was doing their promos for them. Yeah. Not sure who he is. It's not, and I thought it was Grayson at first. It's not Grayson. It's not Uno. I don't know who that guy is.
We haven't got a name in all the vignettes.
He's like a follower or something. Anyways, he's talking to the Exalted One. He goes over they've accumulated thousands, and he mentions that, Nakazawa, he has showed interest. We kind of like about what he's about. We think we can turn him. And the Exalted One's like, yes, and he is also hangs out with Omega. We kind of want we want Omega, so maybe it's a good thing that we keep an eye on Nakazawa to get through to Omega. So they bring that up. Then they bring up Brandon Cutler, and
Edge.
they think they could show him that he doesn't need the Elite to actually start winning, and bring up that he's lost a lot of matches, and they could show him the winning ways, and think the Elite are just showing him down the losing path. And then they bring up Hangman Adam Page. And they feel like he should be their next big acquisition and the number one person they should be focusing on because of, what he's been going through lately, and feel like this is an easy target to change over. So that was an interesting promo. And again, we've said it before, like we wish they should have done this stuff early, but I'm loving what they're doing with the Dark Order. Very much loving this, and I want to know every week I'm actually interested to see what the next Dark Order promo is going to be. And I think more people are invested now with the secret identity of who the Exalted One is. People are going, is it going to be Hangman? Is it going to be Brandon Cutler? Is it going to be Luke Harper, who's out there? Is it going to be, Matt Hardy if he eventually comes over? And now with the news that it was going to be Marty Scurll, but now it's not. So now it's getting people's gears going.
Right.
So, who knows? I'm interested to know. I'm saying right now, I'm invested.
This is more interesting than the Nightmare Collective. But like they were doing okay with that too. It was interesting, it was different, but you lost me. But I think a lot of people also got lost with Dark Order as well. So
yeah,
whatever. Fingers are still crossed. I can only hope that it's only gonna get better.
Yeah. And Sammy G had a match with Jon Moxley. This was one of the two matches that winner will face each other in a number one contenders match on the Jera Cruise. Sammy G with the picture-in-picture cue cards again. Still love that each and every single week. This week he was hitting up Vanessa Hudgens, who's now I guess single for the first time in 7 years or something like that. So he tells her to hit her up.
She got tagged on Twitter from the AEW on TNT
Oh God,
account. He did.
That's
it was
great.
it's on you or whatever. They tweeted at her.
Jon Moxley makes his entrance in his new car. The only thing awkward about this whole thing is there's no music. I'm like, what is happening? Are they playing it or what? I kept waiting to hear it, and I'm like, why are they not playing it? Very awkward. Very weird, and I don't like the no music thing. What the hell? Someone botched back there.
Did you see Marco put a picture the other? I think it was yesterday.
Yeah. He's like, look what I found.
Marco.
Sammy G getting a lot of offense in on Moxie throughout the match, which is really good. I love how they do that because they need to. You can't make Sammy G look like the blibbling, getting beaten all the time, really easy guy in Inner Circle, or else their Inner Circle doesn't have credibility. So for him to get as much offense in on Moxley this week was amazing to see, as in terms of making the Inner Circle look stronger and making Sammy G, who is a young prospect, showing how much faith they have in him, which is really good. Very exciting end of the match. Moxley started to fight back. Moxley catches Sammy's backflip into a rear naked choke. And Sammy tapped out, and this was shocking. I didn't think it was going to end this way, but we had a very, very exciting move of Moxley catching Sammy's backflip into a rear naked choke, and Sammy taps out.
Really good.
Yeah, I really loved that. Jericho's music hits, then the lights go out, they come back on, and then all the Inner Circle in the ring. This is including Proud and Powerful, so great. I'm glad they included them, and it is just a beatdown on Jon Moxley. And then with a spike from his jacket, Chris Jericho stabs Moxley in the eye. And the sell job by Moxley was incredible. Loved it. Loved the sell job. He made it look really sellable. Like Mrs. Masters thought it would actually happen. So if she thinks that it actually happened, they did a good job selling it. There's even that one part where Aubrey was like going, ah! So... Then we get a backstage segment with them after what they just did. They say it's Moxley's own fault. They said Moxley signed his own death warrant for what he did last week, and that's basically an eye for an eye. And then they said they're going to keep their eye on him. There's just a lot of puns here. And they said it'll do the same to the Jurassic Express next week. And then they tell Moxley to see you around if you can. So there are a lot of eye puns here. So it was funny. Really cool backstage segment. Even like Jake Hagar walking by going, "Arr." I was like, "What are you doing?" and then Sammy G telling the reporter, "Hit me up." And then walks away. Then we got like an interesting tag team match. It was interesting to see how this goes down. It was just kind of like a cool down before the main event. We had Blade, Butcher, MJF versus DDP, Dustin, and QT. MJF wearing the I banged DDP's daughter shirt.
He looked like he was wearing a diaper in his freaking trunk. Right? Like, that's how bad it looked. But like, what was it, like the Louis Vuitton or whatever the hell it's supposed to be? But like, what? Like white? It looked like a damn diaper. Like, seriously, you look like a punk.
Hashtag MJF's diaper. But he was wearing a shirt that says I banged DDP's daughter or Dallas's daughter. I was like, wow, that's
I wonder
gutty.
if that's on the pro wrestling.
Oh no, I hope not. I don't think DDP would actually like that.
Sick. You never know. You won't
okay, you look while I continue here.
Continue, because I need to know, because people were asking for it on Twitter.
So MJF playing mind games with DDP in the beginning with that. At one point, he snuck in like a punch with the ring that he has behind the ref's back. And there was a lot of stuff going on behind the ref's back. Even Bunny and Wardlow got in on an attack on Dustin on the outside. He basically showing the heels were taking advantage of this matchup, and they took advantage for most of the beginning and middle of the match. And it started to pick up near the end. A lot of exciting, cool moves. Even DDP did like an outside dive, which was interesting. I didn't think that guy still had an outside dive in him. He looked old in the ring. I will say he didn't look fast at all. Like I knew what we got from DDP is what I expected. I didn't think he was going to be that fast or wrestling that much. MJF, it was cool. I love how they ended it. This was really cool. They had MJF do a surprising roll up to QT to win the match. I love that ending. Right after all the excitement happened, it was very well done and a very good way to end the match, having the heels go out on top. Very much loved the way they structured this match. That was the only thing I liked about it. Other than that, it was boring as hell to me. I'm sorry.
I know the shirt's not out there, but they are doing $1 ringside raffles again. If you order something that you're
something I can't go to, I won't be doing that. I'm sorry.
Just so you guys know.
Just so everyone else knows, they're doing $1 raffles for AEW Revolution. We had an SU backstage segment. This was kind of funny. Hangman comes in all drunk and, basically like how a drunk, disorderly guy would act like at the bar at like 2:30 a.m. when he's finally drank all his booze, just looking for a fight with anybody. Kenny comes in to help. He wishes SCU luck and, wishes them luck next week in their title match and even keeps Hangman from coming back when he came back in. Oh, this was funny. And then we had the main event. Pac and Darby Allin in the main event. I like that.
We needed this match.
Yeah.
I put the tweet out. I was like, this is a match we all needed, because I knew it was going to be nice, fast pace. And
the winner faces, perhaps, we didn't know at the time, commentary is making note of it, perhaps would face Moxley on next week's JR Cruise for the #1 contendership for the main championship. During the picture-in-picture, Pac was able to powerbomb Darby on the steel steps, which you can see he took a lot of, because when we came back from picture-in-picture, the bruise behind our Darby's arm was huge, like an instant bruising. So he took a lot in that steel steps. And then from there, it was all Pac, just dominating Darby. It was a very exciting match, though. Very, very good one. I love the pace that these guys both had. Pac was just too much for Darby in the end, though, because they attributed it all to the powerbomb and the steel steps and how Darby's back was affected, because Pac hit the Black Arrow on his back for the win, and it caused Darby to not have any more strength to kick out. So very good storytelling in this match. Very, very fast paced. I loved everything about this match. Very good main event. And then it continued with Tony Schiavone coming in the ring with Pac. And then Pac says, you must congratulate me now as the #1 contender, rather than...
I'm confused. And this is something that I was talking about. Wasn't Moxley the #1 contender?
I don't know.
He was the #1 contender. I get it that, it's
Are we sure?
Like that. Yes.
I'll have to go back and see. I don't know. I think I kind of forgot.
All right, you guys let me know, but I was talking about this with a couple of people. I was like, wasn't Moxley #1 contender originally? So how is it now we're doing for number one contender again when Moxley didn't
this has to go back before his even answer to join the Inner Circle. Like we're going farther back. I don't remember.
It's just weird because it's like he was the number. You see, everybody's agreeing with me. He was the number one contender. So why hasn't he got his match? Why are we doing another one for the next?
Was he officially the number one contender, or was he number one in the rankings?
No, he was number one contender.
What number one contender's match did he? I want to know what match.
Contender. He was the number one because that was the whole reason that sparked this against the title shot against.
But it wasn't official. He just said like, "I'm coming for your title." I want to know if this was officially labeled as he was going to be the number one contender. Because if it wasn't, then we can't just go by the rankings because the rankings clearly don't mean anything because they're not going by rankings right now. Because Statlander was, you know what I mean? Like Statlander won from a number one contender's match. So we clearly knew that when she jumped from the bottom to the top to face Riho, it was clearly labeled for Moxley to have been already number one contender. I wish there was. We have to know if there was some sort of match that he won number one contendership.
Like everybody's even confused in the chat. So this was even my point of it as well. Was that the fact that he was number one contender that built this whole thing?
I want to know if it was said. If it was said or written somewhere that he was number one contender, I will agree. If not, I can't. Because if it wasn't said or labeled, I can't agree with it.
I just don't like it. Unless, and then I'm not going to like it if it turns into a freaking three-way match at
No.
Revolution.
I think for sure they're going, because Pac's going to try to go face Kenny Omega 100%. I think they're going to have their rematch at Revolution. I don't think Darby's too early to get put in it, so it's going to be one-on-one.
April said that they did say last week that he was the number one contender.
Last week?
Exactly.
Wasn't last week the week he turned? No, it wasn't the week he turned.
For the whole thing of joining the Inner Circle, that he was the number one contender.
I'll have to go back and relook at everything.
Right.
Anyways, we're wasting too much time here.
Okay. But that's important because... Okay, anyway, go ahead.
But we're just sitting here getting confused, or we're not going anywhere.
Okay, anyway.
So Pac says you must congratulate me as the number one contender. Says Moxley is clearly incapacitated and this means it's a forfeit, and you're looking at your new number one contender. Backstage, Moxley is being loaded into an ambulance, and they show him crashing out of it. He walks towards the stage again. I wish they would have played his damn theme song, and I'm like, what the hell is happening? Play his theme song for Christ's sakes.
Kyle wants some theme music.
So he comes out onto the stage. He has a mic. He says he doesn't care if he's blind, he's half dead. He doesn't care, whatever it takes. He will be there next week, and he's going to kick Pac's ass. And I love it. Moxley always looks more like a badass each and every single week on the show. And just that right there, looking like Snake from Metal Gear Solid with his eye patch and his pants. And just showing, like, I don't care if I'm half dead. I'm coming next week, and I'll drag myself there, and we're having this match. So loved every part of that. And we're going to have a number one contenders match. Whether it's weird or not, we're going to have to go back and see. I have to go back and look at the Dynamites and see where they said it. Because I want to know if they physically said, or it was written somewhere that he is the number one contender. I want to know if that's true. If it is, then what the fuck just happened then? That was a no explanation thing.
That I was really confused about. So legit,
I just think we can't get confused with the number one ranking and the number one contender.
I get that, but I'm just saying I thought he was considered the number one contender before the new year. So this was something that I was talking about with a bunch of people. So that's why, so if you guys know, let me and Kyle know.
Yes, because we're going to scratch our heads to the point we're going to hit bone. So let us know. So yeah, decent episode of Dynamite. I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. We're going to get part 2 on the JR Cruise next week. That's what I'm more excited for. Yeah. I'm excited for the whole feel, like a shit feel. This is going to be it's just going to be more, it's different. It's an alternative. Something we don't see is a wrestling show on a ship, for Christ's sakes. A ship. So it's going to be, the crowd's going to be more hot. They're going to be more lit because it's on a boat, a party boat. So it's going to be awesome to see some really good matches for next week on the JR Cruise. Obviously not going to be live, so we'll be getting a taped version of AEW. I'm not sure if it's going to be shorter. Really haven't said much what's going on next week. So,
well, they get a bunch of matches because that's how it was before.
They haven't said if it's live or not. We still haven't know.
No, it's going to be pre-taped, but Yeah, no, but whoever's on the cruise, they get other matches as well because you're gonna have all different people there.
The
I know that
dark.
from last year. Yeah, I'm sure they'll have
Dark
stuff
cruise.
for dark and stuff for just the people on the cruise. So I think like maybe we should save and go next year if they do another one. So we'll see about that.
I'd be down. It usually doesn't take that long before they announce the next one, so I'm sure we'll know by sometime in February maybe. So we'll see. Gives us enough time to save.
Yes.
So, anywho, decent episode of Dynamite Bash at the Beach, Part 1. Part 2 will be next week on the Rock and Rager, Part 2, coincidentally. Let's talk about Being Elite this week. Gotta briefly mention what's happened on Being Elite this week. And very, very interesting episode. Quick episode. There's a couple of funny things in there, a couple of further storylines that are happening in real life that's happening on AEW TV. The one thing is, again, they always like to do this in the beginning of each episode, and that's kind of make a jab of what's going on social media or what's, they kind of make a jab at another company or something. This week, they kind of made a jab at, people being sensitive. and they made a jab at Nick leaving Twitter. So they were doing this landscaping get where like Matt was saying, I like what you did here. You could have put a palm tree over there. You could put some more sand over here. Well, I would have liked the garden gnome over there. And then Nick got pissed off and said, I'm out of here. Like, you know nothing about landscape. You don't know what you're talking about. And then Brandon Cutler's like, oh, what was that? What's going on there? And then he's like, oh, don't worry. He just gets pissed and he'll come back eventually. So that was a quick skit they did in the beginning. We had some vlog footage of them going to Memphis, so some like classic BT vlog kind of style footage. They showed Matt and Nick at a Grizzlies game, an NBA game. They super kicked some guy, which is kind of funny. Then they had at the same place they had Orange Cassidy. They're like, what the hell is he doing here? And he's just randomly walking by in the arena behind the NBA analyst desk.
Yes, that's awesome.
So it was a really quick thing. And then Matt and Nick visited Graceland Museum, which is the Elvis Museum. They went on about forgetting to bring their Elvis wrestling gear from Double or Nothing, but they're like, we're not wrestling anyways. So then we showed them at the arena in the ring. They go over all the show details, but they said, but we're not even wrestling, but we've been like warming up like we've been wrestling. So they kind of quickly made note of that. Then Matt and Nick were with a legend backstage, but everyone that likes and knows legends are going to hate me. I don't know who that was.
I don't know who it was either.
I don't know who it was. I was like, yeah, who? They were going over the arcade machine thing. I think it was that for Kenny. I don't know who that was for. I believe it was for Kenny. I think they made mention of it, but I really wasn't paying attention that much. Anyways, Hangman Page was drinking, shown backstage. He was with another legend again. People don't hate me. I don't know who that was either.
Jimmy Valiant? Yeah, that was.
Is that what it was? Okay.
Yeah.
So he's talking with Jimmy Valiant, and he tells him this really cool mentor kind of saying. He tells him, "You got something that you were running from, but you got a lot more to be running towards." And that just kind of like mind blew. Hangman. He's just like, whoa, that's deep. And it kind of like you kind of see the wheels turning inside like Hangman's head there, right?
Thank you, Ray. He said Lanny Poffo, Macho Man's brother.
Ah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry for people that are pissing at us right now. Anyway, so he tells him that, and then Hangman kind of just like, oh man, maybe I should turn my life around. So then we get the funniest part of the whole BDE is Chris Statlander with a chair turned sideways. And she's trying to figure out how to sit down on a chair. She's like trying to sit on the chair handle. She's like trying to go underneath the chair. She's acting like an alien, right?
Yes.
It's her thing. And then Orange Cassidy comes in. I love this whole thing they're doing with Statlander and Cassidy. Love that. He comes over, flips the chair upright, grabs her hand, and then sits her down and boops her on the nose.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
That's a cool on-screen couple right there. That's sweet.
Yeah.
And then Hangman is with he's in like the bathroom. I guess we found out he sprays air freshener or whatever in his mouth, and he says, "Oh, that's it's high alcohol content." So he's drunk, and then he's sitting there with Kenny, and he's there with Nakazawa, and Kenny's getting worried about him, and he's like, hey, we got to give you some water here. And he takes takes Hangman's water, takes a sip, and it spits it out and goes, no, this ain't water. This ain't water.
Said it, I lost my shit.
Yeah.
I mean, you, because I know like you always say like, oh, I don't have an accent, but you do. You have like Canadian accent on certain words, but this was totally one that I just lost my mind with the way that he said it.
This ain't water. This ain't water. He said it the private party New York way. This ain't water. This ain't water. I love that.
Not this ain't water.
Yeah. Like, just like the praises the private party there is awesome, especially from a guy like Kenny Omega. And then they said they're gonna get it. Kenny's like, I'm gonna get you home. We're gonna go, and he says, "Oh, Nakazawa, I'll be right back." And then the camera quickly shows and zooms what Nakazawa's looking at. And he's looking at the Join the Dark Order thing on his phone. So I'm like, oh. And then Young Bucks stop him in the hallway, and I guess Hangman, too drunk to even notice, kept walking. They stop him and say, we got to go over our post-show recap like we always do. And they're like, okay. So they all sit down, and then like Cutler comes in out of nowhere. And they're like, oh, there you are. Like, where you've been, man? We went to Graceland today. Went to the Memphis Grizzlies. Where have you been? He's like, Cutler doesn't even mention anything. And I'm like, oh. Cutler's going to the Dark Order. I'm calling it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And then Hangman, the last scene we see is Hangman walking alone. He's like, are you calling me the Uber? And he realizes he's not behind him anymore. And he goes, I don't even have my bags. He just turns around. He's walking like all drunkly the other way. Oh, God. Poor Hangman. I feel for the guy. Like, even Mrs. Matters like, oh. I feel for the guy. Like, oops. Yeah, it sucks. But I like Beanie Lee. It was quick, but funny things, and further in storyline with this whole Dark Order thing.
Yeah, it had that feel from like the beginning a little bit that we see a little bit of everything, skits and backstage and
vlog and all that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's Beanie Elite.
That's cool.
Yeah. So before we end the show, guys, like we always do, make sure you're following us on social media. Like us on Facebook at All Elite Podcast. If you're into that Instagram kind of thing, we got Instagram at All Elite Pod. Most importantly, say it every week, guys, most important, All Elite Pod on Twitter is where you can find us. We get all the great retweets and everything. And you're keeping up to date with this podcast. Follow us on there, please, and share us everywhere on all social media platforms. If you guys like watching us on Facebook, thank you very much. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button at youtube.com/the No Holds Barred Network. But we're also available on the go. If you guys want to take us on your podcast app, we're available on apps such as Apple and Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Spotify, Deezer, Player FM, CastBox, Podcast Addict, Overcast, everywhere you can find the All Elite Podcast. So make sure you are searching up the No Holds Barred Network. We also have a t-shirt store. Really cool looking t-shirts on there, guys, for all your t-shirt pleasures and coffee mugs and sweaters and everything on there. Best part about our t-shirt store, guys, is everything is donated to Culture City, great organization that is paired with AEW to fight for the inclusion of everybody, whatever their watching needs are. At every arena, they have like special sensory sensitive rooms at arenas that they go to that really help people, and it's a really cool organization. So all products are and everything purchased on there are fully donated to Culture City. And on that website, we have a t-shirt done by our boys, These Wolves. Darren and These Wolves have a t-shirt. These Wolves, music for the elite, is sold on that store exclusively. Make sure you go and check it out, guys, and buy that t-shirt. Again, all the proceeds for that are donated to the Culture City organization and charity. And best of all, Darren, thank you each and every single week to you guys, you and D's Wolves, for letting us use the song Dead to Me, which is the official theme song of the All Elite Podcast. Big things happening with D's Wolves, guys. Make sure you are following them on their social media links and listening links. Everything is down in the description below for you to click and follow. So thank you again, Darren and These Wolves, for letting us use Dead to Me for the All Elite Podcast. Yeah, I'm wearing their t-shirt today. The Dead to Me t-shirt. I'm wearing right now, guys, as you can see there on screen. Really cool looking t-shirt. You got the coffin wrapped in barbed wire, and it says Dead to Me in the background. Love this t-shirt, Darren. Darren was able to send one to me. I believe he has one on their own t-shirt website for their band tees. So really cool. Pick it up, guys. Dead to Me Official theme song. Love that song. Love all their songs they do. They got to do a bunch of theme songs for us here in the network. So thank you, Darren. You have no idea how much that actually means to us each and every single week. So thank you for letting us use those songs.
That is awesome too, because I actually see him a lot more than I anticipate. It's pretty awesome. I'm sad tomorrow at Synergy Wrestling, because I know he's away this weekend. But like I will see him soon. But yeah, lots of great things coming to the network and going forward. Next week I am doing an episode of Under the Ropes. I believe next Wednesday at 5:00 p.m. Eastern time.
Ooh.
This guy NXZN, he's got a lot to say. He's pissed. He's got a show coming up in February, and he's got a lot of stuff he wants to say on the podcast.
He's like you. You got a lot to say. Tiffany says things. That should be a show on the network. Tiffany says things.
Merp.
Yeah, Merp. Today's episode, Merp. That's it. Thank you for listening, guys.
Episode 2. That's the funny thing. It was Merp.
Yep. Yeah, that was the title of this on this podcast second. So we're at 64 episodes now. So.
Oh my god! And Indie Talks is coming back. I haven't decided if I'm doing it next week or if I'm gonna wait till after, because there is a show that, if you see it on the network, we've had Anthony St. James on the podcast as well. So me and Ray will actually probably going to a wrestling show with him next Friday. So we might include that. So if we don't go to that show, then I'll do Indie Talks as well sometime next week.
Okay. Well. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in live here on YouTube. Thank you for listening back and downloading the episode each and every single week. We do fully appreciate everything you fans do for us. So make sure you are sharing this podcast. The only way we're going to grow is with the help of you fans out there, and to grow with us and to share this podcast, share the network, get the word out there that the No Holds Barred Network is your number one source for wrestling podcast content, and the All Elite Podcast is your number one source for everything AEW related. That's going to wrap it up, guys, for episode number 64 of this podcast. I'm your host, as always, the self-proclaimed greatest host, Kyle Masters, and I'm always joined by my co-host. She is the executive vice president of Giggles. She is also the heartbreak chick and the queen of the indies herself, Tiffany. Follow her on Twitter at LovesToDream82. Follow myself at Real Kyle Masters on Twitter, and we will see you guys next time for the next episode of the All Elite Podcast. Ciao for now.